Hey besties, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited. Today I'm going to tier rank all of the books that I've read in 2023. I ended up reading 70 books, technically 71, but one was like a reread. So I have a lot to go through and I'm so excited to give you a visual of my favorite books, some of the books that didn't work out for me, and whatever else. Without further ado, let's just get into this video. At the very top, I have absolute faves of 2023. These are books that I probably will never stop thinking about, and they're my new obsessions. So I had to have a tier for those books. And then I have So Good. These are books that could be 5-star reads or just close to a 5-star read, but books that I really enjoyed and would recommend. And then I have books you might not like, but I did. These are books that probably are controversial or just unpopular opinions. And then I have books that were okay, very average, I didn't feel any particular way about. And then I have honestly forgot about this. These are books that I probably need to reread, so my rating might be a little bit off now. And then I have would change the rating if I read this now, and these could be books that I read really early on. And then the last category I have is wasted my time, and these are just books that I didn't really enjoy, I could have lived without. So let's go ahead and start with the first one that I read in 2023. I read 'Tis the Season for Revenge by Morgan Elizabeth, and I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars, which I feel like this was really early on into my reading journey, so I don't know if I would give it the same rating, but I really enjoyed it. So I think I'm going to put it in so good. I think I might put it actually in would change the rating if I read this now, because it wouldn't be a real 5-star read. And then I have Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, and honestly I don't really remember too much about it for some reason. I don't know if it would still be a 5-star read for me. I'm going to put honestly forgot about this. And then I actually read The Seat Filler by Soraya Wilson, I think. This one I listened on Audible, so I enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars at the time. Honestly, I don't really remember too much about it. I think one of them was famous, so I'm going to put it under you might not like, but I did, just because I can't tell you much about it, but I really enjoyed it at the time. And then I have Say You Swear by Megan Brandy, and this book was so good. I gave this 4.5 stars. I was thinking about it for quite a bit, but I just can't really remember much about it. I don't know, you guys, I have a bad memory, so I'm going to put it under so good. It made an impact on me, so I'm going to leave it there. Then I have The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. I gave this 4 stars. It was a Groundhog's Day trope, and I don't think that's something I would enjoy now. I want to put it under it was okay, or would change the rating if I read this now. I think I'm going to put it under would change the rating if I read this now. And then I have X's and O's by Amy Lee or Leah, and honestly I didn't like this book. I gave it 3 stars at the time, but I'm going to put it under wasted my time. But I do know that people enjoyed this book, so this is just my opinion. And then I have Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover, and this one I gave 4 stars. I also listened to this on Audible. Honestly, I don't really remember much about it, and I don't know if I liked the ending. I just know it was a sad book. I'm going to put it under honestly forgot about this, because I can't tell you much about what happened in this book. The next book I do remember, and that's Twisted Lies by Anna Huang. I really enjoyed this book. This one was the 4th book in the Twisted series, and this follows Stella and Christian, I think. I just really liked Christian's character, so I'm going to put this under so good, because it was a 4-star read for me. And then I have Funny You Should Ask by Elisa Sussman, and I know that not everybody liked this book, but I enjoyed it because I like the one of them is famous trope. So I'm going to put this under you might not like, but I did. And then we have Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I gave this 5 stars, but I don't know if it would still be a 5-star read for me. I'm going to put it under so good because I would highly recommend this book and I thought it was really cute. And then I have The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas, and I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4.5 stars. I'm going to put it under you might not like, but I did. This book isn't as popular, but I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. And then moving on to some of my favorites, I read Mile High by Liz Tomford, and this is the first book in the Windy City series. You guys know I can't stop thinking about the entire series, so I'm going to put her books up at the very top because they're like my absolute faves. I would say I like The Right Move more than Mile High. I just honestly cannot stop thinking about these books, so they have to go up there. And then I have The Dreamland Billionaires by Lauren Asher, and I read all 3 books back to back. The first one I honestly didn't enjoy that much. I thought that it was okay. And then I read Terms and Conditions, and this one I thought was so good. So I'm going to put it there. And then Final Offer, I feel like a lot of people liked this one the most, but I personally thought it was average. I think I'm going to put it under it was okay. Next up, we have The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose, and this was like my first thriller, like suspense kind of book. I feel like a lot of people trash on this book, but I did not expect what happened to have happened, and I think that I'm going to put this under you might not like, but I did. And then we have The Love Wager by Lynn Painter. This book follows Mr. Wrong Number. I thought this was so cute because it has fake dating. I'm going to put it under so good. This I gave 4.5 stars. And then I have a memoir by Michelle Zauner. This is Crying in H Mart. This book was really popular and my best friend loves her. I just personally went into this book not really knowing the person, and I feel like if I were to read a memoir I want to read by someone I actually know, it's going to be a little harsh, but I don't usually rate memoirs or anything. I'm just going to put it under wasted my time. Then I have First Down by Grace Riley, and this is a football romance. I thought this was really cute, but honestly can't really remember too much about it. I'm going to put it under it was okay for me. Then I have The Accidental Pinup by Danielle Jackson, and if you guys have watched my reading vlog for this book, I did not enjoy this at all. I thought it was really cringy, and I'm just going to leave it there. And then I read Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I think about this book a lot, and I just loved the anxiety rep in here that the main male character faced. So I'm going to put this book under so good, even though I don't like the way that her books end. Then I have That One Night. This book is actually a little novella, like a prequel, and this is by Emily Rath. It was very fun to read. I liked it. It was spicy. I thought it was perfect. I'm going to put this book under so good. Then I have When in Rome by Sarah Adams. A lot of people really enjoyed this book, so I wanted to pick it up, and I thought it was okay. It was nothing too special for me, to be honest. I give this 3.5 stars. Then I have Every Summer After by Carly Fortune, and I was reading a lot of the summer books because I wanted to know all of these like book talk summer books and see what they're about. So this one I did enjoy, even though I know that people have things to say about the ending. I honestly don't really remember too much about it because I feel like I get confused with this book and Love in Other Words. I'm going to put this under you might not like, but I did, just because I feel like some people don't like the trope in this book. Then I have Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I was very surprised by this book. I give this book 5 stars, which I feel like I can't really remember too much about it, which is a bummer, but it is something that I would go back and read. Yeah, I'm going to put it here. Then I read Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. Lauren. It's just a very popular book. I did not expect whatever happened at the end to like really affect me, and I was like sobbing. So I'm going to put it under so good. And then I read Pucking Around by Emily Rath, and this was the book that followed That One Night. I went into this book blind, you guys, and I did not know that it was a reverse harem. I did not know what that meant, and I should have looked at the trigger warnings, so that was completely my fault. I was very surprised and shocked. I'm going to say I wasted my time reading this book just because it was like over 500 pages and it was basically all smut, so I was just not ready for it. It was just too long for me. And then I read Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. This one follows When in Rome, and I loved this book. I thought it was so cute and I had such a great time. I loved the message in this book and I gave it 5 stars. It's crazy, but I'm going to put it under, actually I don't know, should I put it under absolute favorites? I'm going to put it under so good, just because it's not something I think about daily, and I want to save that top tier for books that I cannot stop thinking about. And then I read Once More with Feeling by Elisa Sussman. I did enjoy this one. I know that is an unpopular opinion. I'm going to put this under you might not like, but I did, just because I feel like there's that trope in there as well that people wouldn't like. And then I read Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood, and this one I loved the main male character, but I did think this book was a little bit hard to get into. I did like the story regardless. I'm going to put it under so good because I love her books. And then I read Fourth Wing, and this was my first fantasy book ever, and it was just crazy because it was so hyped. I am obsessed with this book. This is a book that I will never forget. I had so much fun and I just love that world, so of course it has to go into the absolute faves of 2023. And then I read Caraval. This is the first book in the Caraval series by Stephanie Garber, and I did not enjoy this book as much as I thought I would. I am going to put it under, it was okay because it wasn't bad. I didn't waste my time reading it. I was just a little confused. And then I read A Court of Thorns and Roses, and this is the first book in the ACOTAR series by Sarah J Maas. I wasn't obsessed with this book, and I feel like that's fair because it is the intro. I'm conflicted between it was okay and so good. I think I'm going to put it under so good. I did read Flawless by Elsie Silver. This is the first book in the Chestnut Springs series, and I did have fun with this book. However, I don't really think about it at all. I'm going to put it under it was okay. I don't know, I felt very neutral about it. It was fun, but nothing too special. And then I read Emily Henry, Happy Place, and honestly I didn't understand the hype. This is a very popular book, and I was just kind of bummed because it didn't hit for me like her other books. I don't really remember too much about it, and I don't know if it was because I took too long to read this book. I was traveling at the time. I'm going to put it under honestly forgot about this because I need to reread her books. And then I read Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings, and this one was something I had so much fun reading. Really enjoyed the characters. I always think about this book. I just don't know whether I should put it in absolute favorites or just so good. I'm going to put it under so good because I have other books by her that I liked more so. And then you guys, I read The Bodyguard by Catherine Center, and this was such a cute, perfect romance book. I'm going to put it under favorites for 2023. That was a really good small town romance. It was so cute. And then I read Beach Read by Emily Henry, and this one was really good. I thought this was pretty spicy, and I do remember this book. So, oops. I'm going to put it under so good. I gave this 4.75 stars. And then I read The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. This one was such a fun read, and it was like a perfect summer book. I really enjoyed it, so I'm going to put it under so good. I read It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, and you guys, this book was so spicy, but again, I thought this was one of the fun reads for summer. I gave this 5 stars. I'm going to leave it here. And then I read Coach by Devin Perry, and honestly I didn't really enjoy this book. I gave it 3 stars. I don't know, I didn't think it was really important, so I'm going to put it under wasted my time. Next, I read Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. This was my first book by this author, and I thought that this was such a good read because it was my first like taboo romance, and I read it during my birthday week. So I'm going to put it under I don't know if everyone will like this book, but I thought this was so good, so I'm going to leave it there. And then I read Before I Do by Sophie Cousins. This was one of the books that I just picked up at Target, and I didn't really hear much about it. I thought it would be more interesting. I'm going to put it under wasted my time because it's not something I would have picked up, you know, if I could go back. And then I read Simmer Down, and this was another disappointment for me. It sounded really fun, but I didn't really enjoy it. And then I read Finley Donovan is Killing It. This was like during the fall time, trying to get into more of the spooky reads. I feel like this was a book that I thought would have been funnier, but it didn't really give me that vibe. And if I could go back, I probably wouldn't pick this book up, so I'm going to put it wasted my time. I did enjoy this one though, so I could put it under it was okay, but it's just something that I probably wouldn't have picked up. I read Carrie Soto's Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and her books are really good. This one was very interesting and I enjoyed it a lot. I'm a little conflicted because I feel like it was better than okay, but it wasn't like so good. I'll put it under so good for now. And then I read The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and I really enjoyed this book. It was a little creepy for me, even though it shouldn't have been. The first book, I'm going to put it under it was okay, because I feel like it wasn't so good. Even though I did give this book 4.5 stars, actually I'm going to put it under would change the rating if I read this now, because I don't think I would give it that high of a rating. And then I read Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. I did enjoy this book. It was just fun, lighthearted, and I know that not everyone liked this book, but I'm going to put it here. You might not like it, but I did. And then I read Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings, and I loved this book, so I'm going to put it up here. It's something that I cannot stop thinking about, and I just love Daisy's story. And then I read The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and this one was keeping me on my toes. I liked the crime aspect of it more. I'm going to put it under so good. Then I read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, and this one was a good read as well. I still think about The Naturals more, so I'm going to put it under it was okay for me. Or actually, I don't know, you guys. I'm going to put it under would change the rating if I read this now, because I feel like this would be like a 4-star read or something. And then I read Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q Satano, and I think this one was an okay book. It's just something fun. You shouldn't have a lot of expectations for it. I think I'm going to put it under it was okay for me. Then I read Divine Rivals, and this book was just so good. It was really popular. I still think about this book a lot, and I just loved the ending of this book. It was just a little slow in the beginning, but otherwise a fantastic read, so it deserves to be under so good. And then I read Powerless by Lauren Roberts, and I'm going to put this under absolute favorites of 2023. I love this book and I always think about it. It's just something that I annotated the heck out of, and it was such a good book. And then I read Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. This one follows Fourth Wing. I really enjoyed the story, and I'm going to put it under so good. I already got into the world, so it was really interesting to see more of the characters and what happened in this book. And then I read Caught Up by Liz Tomford, and this was her newest release. This is the 3rd book in the Windy City series. It was really good. Then I read Accidentally Amy by Lynn Painter, and you guys, I did not enjoy this book at all. I thought it was very cringy, and I don't know, it was giving me like young adult vibes, even though there was some spice in here. The characters were very childish. And then I read The 7-Year Slip. This is by Ashley Poston. I cannot stop thinking about it, and I feel like I need to reread this soon, so please go read this book because I loved it so much. And then we have Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, and I went in knowing that this was a low-stake fantasy. However, I thought it was really slow and boring to me, so I wouldn't have picked this book up. I'm going to put it under wasted my time, just because I feel like it was a cute read, but just not my vibe if I could go back and decide. And then I read Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. Surprisingly, I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. However, I don't know if I would give it the same rating if I could go back. Yeah, I think I might have to change my rating. And then I read King of Wrath by Anna Huang, and this is the first book in her King of Sins series. I thought this was very mid. I'm going to put it under it was okay. I thought I would like it more. And then I read What Was Meant to Be by QB Tyler, and this book was actually pretty interesting. Another taboo romance. This was about best friend's dad. It was just very interesting to see what would happen, and it was a pretty spicy book. I did enjoy this one, so I'm going to put it under you might not like, but I did. And then I read Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home, and this book, it was too much, but it was really good as well, and I just have to put it here. I really liked it. Then I read some Christmas books, and these books were just not hitting for me this year. I read Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey. I just did not like this book. I'm going to put it under wasted my time. If I could go back, I would not pick this book up. I thought I would like it more than I did, but I did not. Then I actually included The Christmas Wish by Lindsay Kelk. I did not finish this book, so I ended up DNFing this book at 75%. I still wanted to include this book because I read like majority of it. It has to go under wasted my time just because I did not finish. And then I read A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone, and I did like this one, so I'm going to put it under it was okay. And then I did read Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was a good book. I really enjoyed it, so I'm going to put it under so good. Yeah. And then I read Snowden by Catherine Walsh. I love her books and just her writing. This book was really cute, but I did think the beginning was a little slow. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like so good. I think I'm going to put it there. And then the last book I read for the year was Big Neck Energy by Morgan Elizabeth, and it's just so crazy to have ended the year reading a book by Morgan Elizabeth, the same author I read at the beginning of the year. It was just a very cute, wholesome read, so I'm going to put it under so good. So now these are all of the books and the order where I placed them, and I feel like this is pretty fair for majority of the books to be under my so good category, because my average rating for the year was actually 3.9. So let's go back and go through all of these books. The books that I wanted to start with at the bottom, Wasted My Time. These are books that I probably would not have picked up or wouldn't pick up again. Actually, I'm going to move Legends and Lattes under it was okay, just because I feel like Wasted My Time would be books that I wouldn't recommend. And then books that I would change the ratings if I went back. Then I have honestly forgot about these books, and then I put it was okay for these books. That's solid. And then I put you might not like, but I did. And the majority of my books under the so good category. And then my absolute favorites of 2023, I'm going to have to move this one under to so good, just because it was a 5-star read, but it's not a book that I think about like every day. All of these books at the very top are books that I cannot stop thinking about. Yeah, I'm so happy to be able to show you guys all of the books and where they land for me. Again, this is just my take and my opinions on these books, so even though I might not have enjoyed some of these books, doesn't mean that you won't. So I hope that this video was entertaining for you guys, just to see where I place all of these books and just my recap on all of the books I read in 2023. Let me know if you guys decide to do this. I would love to hear anything you would like to share with me down below. But thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!